Welcome back to the Lumiose Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we're going to be talking about the biggest lies in the Pokemon community, specifically like the ones that I remember growing up. These are things like you'll get it as we go into the video, but just things that you're told, whether it's online or by friends or maybe even by like a third-party guidebook or something about the Pokemon games that just isn't true. But like it's such widespread information, you believe it's true as a kid, only for you to eventually find out it's not true at all. Yeah, I think this is a really fun topic. I think that this is something that is just interesting to kind of see people talk about. So let's jump right in with the easiest ones. Let me know in the comments below which ones of these you were told as a kid, if I'm alone on any of these. But we'll start with the easiest one that I'm sure everybody's heard of, and that is Mew Under the Truck. So Mew Under the Truck, this comes from way back in Gen 1, whenever you would go to Vermilion City and you'd get on the SSN. As you're walking to the SSN, there is on the dock a truck there, and you don't think anything of it, but basically eventually it comes out that there's not 150 Pokemon in Gen 1, there's 151, with the 151st being Mew. And so it's a question of, okay, well, how will Mew be implemented into the game? And so rumors started up of how you could get Mew. So one rumor was that you could use strength on a truck the truck that's in the Vermilion City dock, and when you would use strength, you could push the truck out of the way, and there'd be a Mew there, and you could battle and catch Mew. That's not the case at all. In fact, the only way you can get Mew like in a game is if you have save data from Let's Go. You can get it from Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. You could talk to a guy in Floroma Town and get a Mew, but other than that, you have to do something external. Like you have to have the Pokeball Plus from like Let's Go, or you have to have gotten it from a mystery gift, or you have to have gotten like the little event from Pokemon Emerald, or I think it was available to all the Gen 3 games. It definitely was Emerald, Fire Red and Leaf Green, maybe not Ruby and Sapphire, I'm not sure, but where you could go to the island where Mew lives, and you'd basically like play hide and seek with it and be able to get it. But no, you cannot use strength on any truck to get Mew. Now, moving into the next one, another really common thing that I think we were all probably told or all did. This is kind of a little bit different because none of us were told this, I think, but we all just inherently believed it. And that is that when you throw a Pokeball, if you are able to hold A and hold the down button, you have a higher chance of catching that Pokemon. Or, for some people, it's even like, there's different variations of this. When you use a move, let's say I'm using Close Combat, if I rapidly click A as fast as I can, like this is Pokemon Go or something, then the Close Combat will do more damage. And that's not true. There's statistics and how much it's going to do, and statistics and your likelihood to catch something. You pressing buttons isn't going to do anything. Let's face it, we all still do this one, right? Am I the only one who still does this one? I feel like I've seen other people say they still do this. I still do this. I don't care. I'm not ashamed. You can, if you see my battle videos over on LumioseTower, you can actually hear, if you listen closely probably, me like rapidly clicking A on my Joy-Con when I'm using a move. It's just, I don't even think it's a nervous tick thing. I just still believe this one. Deep down, I do. Now, this next one might be where it's a little bit more to me. Maybe other people haven't heard this one, but that is Splash on Magikarp doing damage. Now, you may know that Splash is a completely useless move, except for in Gen 7, it did have a brief stint where it was actually useful because it could become Z-Splash with a Z move, and that would allow it to drastically raise your stats, so raise your attacks at 3 stages, which was crazy. And you can make the argument that it was useful in Dynamax as well, as Splash could, when you Dynamax, become Max Guard. But either way, the move is useless. Like, Splash on its own, not Z-Splash, not Magikarp Splash is a useless move. However, I was told that, and I don't even know where this came from, but I was told if you use Splash enough times, eventually it would do damage, and it would be like a really powerful attack. I used all the power points of my Magikarp Splash, and let me tell you, it never did anything more than nothing. So yeah, then for the next one, this is also a little bit different, but action replay codes. Hopefully that sends you all back to the same time it sent me. Gen 4 was around the time I got an action replay. Yeah, because it was for the DS. And basically what this would do is you could use like little codes to walk through anywhere, so you'd be able to walk around through trees and stuff. Like I remember me and my sister thought it was fun to go into the Solaceon like daycare and go on the other side of the fence where all the Pokemon are, you know, those kinds of things. Really stupid. Just little things like that. Well, there are some things that the action replay can do. You can type in your own cheat codes and basically be able to get the Azure Flute for Arceus, all kinds of things. Well, anyways, I remember there being cheat codes that would be posted on like wiki pages or forum pages, and they would be insanely long. Like cheat codes that would take me an hour to type into the action replay, and they'd do nothing. They wouldn't do anything. So they were all like trick posts to get you to type a long thing on your action replay, and it didn't work. Look, I was like 8 then. I don't blame myself for falling for it, but either way, it sucks. I totally fell for those. You know, let me know if you fell for them too, or if this was just me. Now, a quick honorable mention to a lot of Pokemon that don't exist but were kind of lied about in a way. Like, they were very popular Fakemon, and that is, for one, I think of like Pika-Blue and Pika-Leaf and those kinds of Pikachu variants, if you will. Then also there is Mew 3. I was told that Mew 3 you could get if you caught all the Pokemon in Fire Red and Leaf Green. You would then be able to go back to Cerulean Cave where you get Mewtwo, and Mew 3 would now be there. And then another version I heard of that was after you get all the Pokemon, if you go to the base floor of the Pokemon Mansion, you can find Mew 3. And Fire Red and Leaf Green was the game I was playing. And none of that's true. Mew 3 is not real, at least not yet. Maybe the Pokemon Company will do it one day. But as of now, there's no such thing as Mew 3. Okay, so another one that I encountered in Gen 4, specifically in the remakes of the Gen 2 games, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, was, if you play through the game, you can challenge Red at the top of Mount Silver. And I was told that, again, don't know where the source of this was, but I remember being told that if I defeated Red, and then I went and re-challenged the Pokemon League and went back to Mount Silver, Ash would now be there to challenge, and I'd be able to battle Ash using its Kanto team. So that would be what? Pikachu, Charizard, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and then, he kind of, then Pidgeot, and then he kind of rotates around the last slot a lot because he releases things and puts things, at Oak's Lab, etc. But I think it was like supposed to be Butterfree or something. Needless to say, that didn't happen either. You battle Red, and then that's it. There was no Ash. I climbed up Mount Silver a second time for absolutely nothing. This next one is one that's a little bit newer. It's one of the newer ones that I've heard, and that is for Gen 5. That's like as far as, I guess, my gullibility went, was to Gen 5. Let me know if you know of any of these weird ones for generations that are like more present, like Gen 7, 8, 9. But that was the Abyssal Ruins and Undella Town had a Lugia or a Manaphy in it. I heard versions that were Lugia and versions that were Manaphy. And basically what this was you would go down to the Abyssal Ruins, and the Abyssal Ruins were like a little maze, and eventually like a current would force you out. But if you could make it far enough, you could find a Lugia, or other versions say you could find a Manaphy. This wasn't true at all. This was not true. But, it was a fun little thing, and I did believe it. and I was constantly trying to get through the Abyssal Ruins, and I'd keep getting swept up by the current, and I never found my Lugia, and then later on I found out, well, there was no Lugia to find, so that made me feel a lot better. I think another version was the Manaphy egg, so yeah, all of that's really, really neat. Again, be sure to let me know if there were any of these that you also fell for as a kid, or just other ones that maybe I don't remember that you fell for as a kid. I'd love to read the comments and be like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's right, I do remember that. Also, if you know of any like present day ones, let me know in the comments below. Be sure to also like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. You don't want to miss our future Pokemon videos where we just break down fun stuff from around the Pokemon world, Pokemon lore. We do theories, all kinds of fun stuff. You don't want to miss it, so like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And until next time, I will see all of you later.